days, overwhelmed, trapped in a maze. Small business owner, stress had me in a daze. Every problem piled up, couldn't catch a break. Thought I couldn't make it, my dreams were at stake. But then I found a group that changed my whole perspective. Our success group of a community so effective. We all chasing that dream, sharing struggles and fears. They understood my journey, wiped away my tears. Together we broke through, we rise above. No more feeling stuck, we're fueled by love. Our small business is shining, reaching new heights. With the support of our success group, we're taking flight. Our word is strong, the vision so clear. Building our dreams with no more fear. Together we're resilient, unstoppable force. With our success group. Thought I couldn't make it, my dreams were at stake. But then I found a group that changed my whole perspective. Our success group, community so effective. We are chasing that dream, sharing struggles and fears. They understood my journey, wiped away my tears. Together we broke through, we rise above. No more feeling stuck, we're fueled by love. Our small business is shining, reaching new heights. With the support of our success group, we're taking flight. Our word is strong, the vision so clear. Building our dreams with no more fear. Together we're resilient, unstoppable force. With our success group.
Good
Hello,
evening.
everyone.
Happy Wednesday.
Yes, welcome. It is the 24th of July already. It's crazy. Time is flying by, but we're excited to be here tonight. I am Kylene with Rise, Shine, Smile, and I encourage transformation through positive energy.
I'm Becky Kutzer with BK Custom Tees, and I believe it takes a village to run a business.
All right. And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and I'm with our success group. And we are here to help you guys fall deeper in love with your business. Actually, interesting. Karen is here. She says, I'm grateful for a husband who can fix cars, trucks, and home repair. So already getting into our gratitude there. Love that. I had an opportunity to have a call with Karen earlier, and she asked me, how do you get people to fall in love with their business? And so that was a fun conversation, right? We've got the foundation that you need, and once you start putting that into play, you'll find every day you get to do more things than you have to do. So that's kind of the plan there. But welcome in, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Becky, what are we talking about today?
This week, we are talking about website revamps.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've revamped a couple times and probably need to do it one more time. So
nice. All right. Excellent. All right. Well, we encourage you guys to jump in the comments there. We've got Chuck already jumping in saying good evening. Karen already sharing her gratitude. So if you were tuned in live, or if you're watching the replay, make sure that you are getting in the comments, engaging. This is not just us talking. This is a conversation with the community, and we're excited to have these rising tide talks here today. But Kylene, what about gratitude? I know Karen already jumped in because of the banner I was playing at the bottom there, but give us a rundown.
Yeah, I love that she shared that already. So gratitude, I believe, is our superpower. When we are in a state of gratitude, we're in that state of abundance. We start really getting into the habit of appreciating those things that we have in our life. So we also raise our vibration and attract more good things to us. So we're going to attract good energy to us here tonight. And so if you are listening, like Aaron said, please share what you're grateful for today. Becky, do you want to start us off with what you're grateful for today?
I sure can. I was just thinking about this, and it's like, okay, lots of things obviously came to mind. But the one for me, in the last couple of days, I had a colleague that reached out, just random. All of a sudden I get a text message. It says, wellness check. How are you doing? And it was just really nice to have that check in. You have people you talk to every day, but once in a while, it's nice that somebody else is still out there and reaching out to, and I've done that back, I guess, a couple times, but it's just nice to have that one person that reaches out once in a while and kind of just, what do you need? What do you, what can we do today? So
love it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Kylene, what about you?
Well, I am really grateful for summertime. I get to be outside more, and Lewis is home, so I get a little extra time with him. So for me, I'm just really grateful. We're in the middle of summer. I'm trying to enjoy. It's going by fast, but I am enjoying it as much as possible.
Yep. Love it. Love it. All right. Well, I am grateful for the light at the end of the tunnel with the car challenges. I'm flying to Nashville on Monday, and I'm just grateful for the ability to get through it all. It's been quite a mess, and so having the ability to deal with everything and challenge all the challenges that come with it. So it's been a long struggle. It's over a month now, well over a month now. But the car's been in Tennessee, so I'm very grateful for that ability to overcome. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
what else? Do you guys,
celebrate Monday.
yeah, definitely. when I finally get home.
Yes.
Yeah, looking forward to that. All right. So those of you guys that are tuned in live right now, do us a favor, make sure that you get out there and share this. We want to make sure that we've got people in the comments with us. We need to get sharing a little bit more here in general. So if you guys could share out on your social media platforms and come join us on Facebook or over on YouTube at liveosg.com. We need to see you guys in here so we can have deeper conversations. But speaking of that, Becky, are you ready to dive into our discussion here and how can we get the conversation going with those that are tuned in? Where should we start there?
Well, at first, with the website revamp, we have to start thinking about, what's the most important goal for your business website. So share here in the comments what you want to get out of your website. What's the number one reason for having your website? I happened to be listening to a podcast the other night that he had a whole bunch of different types of websites, and it was more like a static one and a business one and an e-commerce one. I hadn't thought about all of that through part of it. So that was actually very interesting to hear, to understand, why and what you need that website for. So we'd love to hear what you guys have your website for. But before we dive too far in to the nuts and bolts of the business redesign, we have to think about a few things about why you want that website, right? Clear objectives and thoughtful planning go into all of setting up that website. So what else are we looking at that needs to come into a website? Kylene, what do you, when you were looking at yours, what do you need?
Well, I just went through a little bit of a revamp with the help of Aaron, transitioning it from an e-commerce site to more of what I need for yoga. And for me, the main goal of my website really is information and sign up. I need to have those two features. I need people to learn what it is that I'm offering, and then an ability to register and sign up. So, but I mean, there's a lot more I can go into detail with that whole process that I went into. But for me, that's my main objective for my website.
Yeah. And I think, in fact, Sarah here says awareness is the main goal for her website, right? And so, I think this is a part that I know I've missed probably more often than I probably should have. It is this, clear objectives, thoughtful planning. A lot of times it's like, oh, I'm going to make that tweak to the website. I'm going to change this. But what ends up happening is then you end up with, a whole bunch of different pages that aren't really working together. I've got pages out there from a long time ago, and all of a sudden I get this like form filled out. I'm like, where did that come from? Like, I didn't even know that was on the website. Right. So there's just like so many pages, you don't know what does what anymore. And, so I guess that that's kind of the first topic that I'd like to discuss a little bit. Is this need to set clear goals, but don't just go make changes for the sake of making changes, I guess is what really has shown up for me. Again, what are those goals? What do your ideal customers need? And how does it all align with your business brand, right? So, Kylene, you talked about needing to, not needing to switch, but you were paying for an e-commerce site and you didn't really need to be. So maybe go a little bit deeper into that, right? Because, okay, you still need to get people registered, so to speak, but maybe you don't need an e-commerce site for that, So why did you make that choice, that switch?
Well, I mean, when it really comes down to like the basics of it, why do I need to pay for this Shopify store when that wasn't the purpose of what I am offering? I could go to a platform that we already had and build from there because it makes sense to have everything under one umbrella. It's easier for the customer. I think I had before, when I had my Shopify store, I still had some e-commerce items on there, but then I had yoga here, and it was just, you would go there and be like, well, what does she really, what is she here for?
Yeah.
But in the process of doing that, what I found that I thought I knew what I wanted, but then when I was trying to articulate that, it was really challenging. But Aaron's like, well, go back to your why, go back to that foundation, which helped really get more clear about what I needed it to do and look like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Becky, you can certainly talk about that, but I'd also love you to kind of talk a little bit more about kind of you mentioned the purpose of the website, the different types of websites. So I know Sarah said awareness, Kylene talked about needing registrations. Anything else there?
Well, and for me, I'm actually going to probably be doing the same thing Kylene's doing, is I'm paying for an e-commerce site also. And I mean, I sell products, but a lot of my stuff is custom. So with having it be custom, it's hard to put it through a website and have them pay for something. Plus, I actually work with a lot of organizations, clubs, teams, anything like that we set up a web store for them. And I have a third-party organization that I work through that makes the web store super slick to have everything in there, easy to add the graphics, and it just handles everything in one spot. And from there, I can have those pages linked on my website. So getting rid of the e-commerce side for me, I think, is going to, make a difference. So, I need more of a static per se website where I can have some pages that show some of my products that I've made in the past, have the page that they can click through to the web stores. Plus, I also added a button up in the corner that says, if to contact me for a custom order. And what that does then is on the backside, it adds it right into my Trello board with a new order. So when somebody sends that order form through, it automatically lands right into my orders. So as soon as I open my Trello board, I see that I have a new order sitting in my list to take care of. So that's, again, back to, what do you need? Do you need to sell stuff online, or do you need, a place to go and show people the information? Have a couple links for them to click through to different things, an about you page, just telling them what you do, what your mission is, and what you offer. So
I mean, just what you just said about how you made your website work exactly for you to help you be more efficient long term. I mean, you've put in the thought of how to make it work for your business. Yeah. Not just what you think it should do. And that's, I think, where we get lost in all of it.
Yeah. This might cover up. Yeah, there we go. So Karen talked about with her website, it says a portal to our business to share information, to serve our community, explain why people should buy from you, generate revenue, and make it easy for people to buy from you. Right. So, there's a lot of things to unpack in there. And then I'll read the rest of it. It needs to be responsive as well. 75% of our viewers are on a mobile device. Most important thing for me is a reliable webmaster. If you're not doing your own, I've worked with the same guy for 20 plus years. He's always given me great advice, always available. And I think that's another big part of this, right? So again, lots of things to unpack there from Karen, but in general, like I do my own websites, but I've had help with kind of a rebrand and kind of to get it started. And I've asked for that help twice, and both times it was not a great experience. But going back to taking 100% responsibility, how did I create, promote, or allow that? Right. I didn't have a clear purpose. I didn't have clarity. And so, I just didn't know enough. And, you would think after the first time I would have figured it out. But the second time I thought I had it figured out. And I certainly got to where I am now. But I use maybe 3 pages that I paid for. And I paid for a lot more than that. Right. So it's been. It definitely is about, again, thinking about what you want it to do, how you want it to do that, but designing it like you're talking about, Becky, designing it for what works with your business, right? And I think that was my problem. I went out there and I said, hey, I want this website, and here, they were kind of like, oh yeah, okay, but I didn't really think about what I needed for our success group. What was the end goals? How did the different tools that I was already using work together? You talked about Trello. So anything else there that we can unpack?
Well, and I've done the same thing, and I see Karen's comment about having kissed a lot of toads to find her prints, and
Yeah.
and I feel the same way. I've worked with a few different web ones too when I first started out, and trying to explain, how I want things to go. And some of the websites just don't have the functionality for that, for the custom products and some of that. And that's when finding the process that I use now for the web stores has made it so much simpler for what I do. So there again, I didn't have long-term stuff initially when I did either. I mean, I knew what I kind of wanted, but then it just became so cumbersome to try to get products up and the custom and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, again, it's one of those things that's going to grow with you, and it's going to grow with your business as you go. And I totally agree with Karen's other comment about the responsiveness, because if you go to a website and, 75% of us are definitely on our mobile device when we're looking up something. And if that doesn't load within 2 seconds, we're on to another thought process or on to the next one that will load in that same time. So those are all things that need to be looked at, and having that clear goal for what you are going to need makes a difference. So,
and what you said there is just, understanding what your customer needs and who they are. Are they on their desktop? Are they on their phone? Are they, who are they and what do they need? So you can make sure that you're tailoring it to that group of people.
Yeah.
And some of the website platforms will automatically adjust for mobile devices, but it will also move things around to the point where when you're on your mobile device, if you haven't set it up right, you'll lose some of that and you won't be able to find it when you actually are looking on your phone or tablet. So those are things too that, you need to consider and remember to go check from your mobile device onto your own website to make sure that it's coming through.
Yeah. And, because, well, let's get to Chandler's, Sarah's comment here. She said, I did my own website for both and then had a company do it for me. And it was hard for them to really show what I wanted. Let's just say they did not get my domain. Yeah. And again, that's the hard part about, using an outside website developer. Like Karen said, it's just a lot of frogs to find somebody that can kind of get her. I went round and round with both mine and now I have a much better understanding of what it is that I need, but I've learned in the process, I've learned how to do it myself. So it is really hard to turn that over, but I think at the point where it is time for a bit more depth and more functionality and stuff like that, then now I'll be able to kind of better communicate with somebody to figure that out. So, sorry, I just, Karen says it's fun to go to Wayback Machine and see the evolution of your website, especially when you've been around for a while. Yeah. Well, let's kind of wrap up this part of the discussion here a little bit with a couple quick things. We talked about, what are your customers' needs, and Becky, I think what you explained was really important, right? Because you sell a product, So why don't you have an e-commerce site, right? Like, I know you do, but just,
Mhm.
you don't. Well, just because you sell a product doesn't necessarily mean you need an e-commerce site. Just because you do this doesn't mean you necessarily, like, I see people that go out and get these, spend a lot of money on designers, oh, well, I do custom products. And so they need to be able to design. Well, is that really what your customers need? Like Kylene was talking about, are they going to be on their mobile versus on their phone more often? What's your percentage? Everybody's a little bit different, but definitely a lot of mobile people. And then secondly, yeah, what do they need? Like for you, sounds like what your customers really need is just a way to say, hey, I need a custom project. Oh,
Mhm.
cool. I love what you're doing here. Now, can I get my own custom project? Right.
Right.
And so you're building
Mhm.
that. So, yeah. So any other thoughts about that in kind of aligning with our ideal customers?
I don't think so. I think just to like wrap it up, with what Karen said, the Wayback Machine, just being okay to revisit your website every now and then, just to evaluate what's working and what's not working and how you can adjust and grow, and not hold on to it, just because maybe we can make a little minor tweak and it can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But again, sorry not to disagree with you, and I'm
Yeah.
not disagreeing with you, but I think way too often, and I know I've done this way too often, so that's kind of why I'm speaking to myself here, is this idea, oh, I'm just going to make a little tweak. Okay, well, correcting spelling, something like that, but to kind of go and just like, oh, let me change this stuff around. And then again, how does that interact with the rest of your website? How does that interact
Yeah.
with people that you're trying to support? So it is a bit of a balance between, making little tweaks. But I think a lot of times we go, oh, I'm just going to go play with my website. Okay, is that a good use of your time when you've got a lot of things going on?
No, because it leads you down a very big rabbit hole.
For
That's
sure.
hard to climb out of.
Yeah, indeed. And then I guess the last little bit here is, for most of us, now if you're somebody that doesn't have a website yet, this wouldn't necessarily apply. But I think the other part of this concept of a website revamp is the idea that, you probably don't need to just scrap everything and start over, right? So
Mhm.
what I might suggest is taking a look at your current website and saying, okay, what's working well for my customers, right?
Mhm.
Because we never get to that part. We're just like, oh, what's working well? Okay, what's working well for me is where our brain is, but then you need to add in for my customers. And do you know that, right? So maybe there's some time that you need to go and do a little research and talk to some of your best customers and things like that. But what's working well, and then what needs improvement. So Becky, any more thoughts on that?
Nope. It's nice to have a website when you can point them to and say, here, click and fill this out, and and have that easy functional part of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Kylene, anything else there for you?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. For those of you that are tuned in, Karen says, for me, function is more important than pizzazz. It has to be easy to navigate.
Yep.
And then she shared, we've learned over the years, it's not to overload the website with fancy plugins. They can break, cause issues, make it simple. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Yep.
The KISS method.
The KISS method, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And I love a good plugin too. So yeah, I have to be careful of that, because I just found out the other day that I had two plugins that actually didn't work well together, and one, yeah. So I was like, oh shoot, okay. I was trying to compress the images, and they were both compressing the images, and it took longer to load. So anyhow, all right. Well, you guys, can we take a quick break here? And instead of having a ad, I'm going to actually talk about something. So
Sure.
I can just let you guys jump off screen for a second so you can grab a water or whatever you need to do. And I'm going to talk about a program that I'm doing with my mentor. So let me send you guys to the back, and we'll have you back in a second. All right, you guys. Well, so what I wanted to share in our quick break here today is a program for any business owner of any type of business who is having trouble communicating what you do, who your ideal customer is, what is it that they value, and then what is what your value is in dollars and cents. So this program is a 4-hour masterclass, and I'm going to put the link up there for you guys to go check it out if you want to see. It is a 4-hour masterclass, and in this masterclass, we're going to answer those 4 questions for you. You're going to come away with the ability to understand what you do with more clarity, who your ideal customer is with more clarity, what it is that they value, and then how to price that, right? What your value is in dollars and cents. So if you are ready to attract more ideal customers, you're ready to set the right price, you're ready to enjoy long-term profitable relationships, sign up now at osg.link/profit. With a limited class size of only 6 participants, you'll receive personalized guidance and support. So make sure that you secure your spot now to be able to join this masterclass and don't miss out. So again, osg.link/profit. All right, let me bring Becky and Kylene back. So that's our quick little break. I wanted to share that program. It's going to be happening on September 5th, and I would love to have people joining us for that. So,
sounds awesome.
Yes, yes, it does.
All right. Well, so let's get into the second part of this. So we kind of talked about the mindset, the strategy side of a website revamp. Becky, let's get into the nuts and bolts, and again, let's get the folks engaged. And so you got a question for them?
I do. We want to know which website platform you're currently using and why. I'm currently using Wix. I had to think about it for a minute because I've switched a couple times. I currently use Wix for my main BK website.
Okay.
I have an additional one under Equid. Okay. That's a very behind the scenes one at the moment and not very active, and that's totally okay with me. Mm-hmm. But I would like to know who else is using, what other platforms are out there. What are you guys using?
Okay. Kylene, what about you?
Well, I was with Shopify for a while, and we had an Equid store for a bit. And now I believe, it's under our success group, so it's being managed by someone here.
Your webmaster?
Yeah, my webmaster.
Your webmaster. Yeah. Yeah. So we do use WordPress. And with WordPress, we also, if there is a need for e-commerce, and I've got a few things that we'll need e-commerce for, so we will be using WooCommerce inside of that as well. So let's see what some of our listeners are using. So Doug is a Wix user as well. Karen is WordPress. Rena is GoDaddy. Chuck is Equid. Sarah is Wix for
Grace period.
Grace period. For some reason, I always want to say giving because she's so giving, but it's the grace period. And then Square for 80/20. Paige Waters is using Shopify. Awesome. Any others that we missed here that you guys could think of?
Squarespace is another one that I have heard is very, I guess Sarah did say Square. Sorry about that. I missed that part. It's supposed to be fairly easy friendly, friendly.
Yeah.
More so from the back end for us as a business owner building as opposed to the front end. I guess I'm not sure on that side, but
yeah. Interesting. So yeah, we said Shopify, we got Equid, Wix, Squarespace, GoDaddy. Those are kind of the main ones. What's the BigCommerce? I think is another one that's out there, but I don't know if it's really. I haven't heard a lot of people using that one lately. So if we're going to just kind of list some things off here, then some people use Etsy as their website. All right, so. And then you can get into some things like you mentioned, Becky, that you were using a program to do like website stores, and potentially use that as a website for yourself as well too. Is that right?
The web stores, you still need a landing page because what they do is they offer a landing page, so you really don't have any room to put announcements for your own shop. It just strictly would list out your stores that are open currently.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, if you're only doing the web stores and that's what works, I know that's what Tanya and Jay are doing right now, because they don't need to have a big website of any sort for the TVIV side, but they have the web stores open. So it's a great place to be able to still navigate them to the website that people are aware of, but then it just automatically reverts to just what the web store lists are that are open.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Have you shared the name of that one yet? I can't remember.
I have not. It's Chipley.
Okay.
And please let me know if you have questions about it. They've made a couple upgrades recently, and it's fantastic.
All right.
There was a few cumbersome things, but it's been by far the best one I've, worked with. I used another different one before called Order My Gear.
Yep.
Sorry, it took me a minute to get to that one.
Yep.
And Chipley just made things a lot simpler, and now they've really even simplified their process a lot more in the last month. So yay, Paige uses it too. Love it.
I love it. So you mentioned Order My Gear. If you're looking for that kind of it's not necessarily web. So these other two are kind of web store / designers, but you got Deco Network. And you can do web stores with them too, but then you also can do, have a designer on your site. And then the name keeps changing because they've been bought like 7 times in the last year, but Inktavo, Printavo,
Inksoft was Inksoft,
right? Well, it was Inksoft, but then there was Printavo, and then it became Inktavo, or something like that. So that's one. And then what's the there was one other one, and now I can't think of it. Darn it. Yeah, I won't come up with it off the top of my head. So anyone else out there? Karen said, I have had Joomla, pretty complicated. Yeah, that was one of the original ones. Let's see here. And Sarah said, Becky asked why Wix, because it's simple for me. Squarespace, because it's easy for my clients to use. Love it. And then Becky, I don't know if you had any chance to take a look at this, but not what Karen's comment, but this using QuickBooks now. So she says, my programmer likes Stripe for a payment gateway. As a user, I prefer Square, but then I use QuickBooks now. So hi, Cora.
She snuck in. So I have not used Stripe for a payment gateway. I do prefer Square also. I use QuickBooks also for some, as far as sending invoices for people to pay. They can pay directly in, and then it gets paid right into QuickBooks. I prefer Square for any kind of vendor events that I do, because I can set up my dashboard in Square, and I have quick, easy access to touch the products and add them and have people pay. I know there was the gal was working with was trying to get me to use QuickBooks for that, but it was very cumbersome. And when you're in the middle of a vendor event, and if you're busy, that wasn't going to work for me. So I just said, no, we're going to stay with Square for any vendor events. And I don't do a ton of vendor events, so that it is not a big deal. I have another bank option with some more information coming down the road that I'm working on right now, because QuickBooks, for the process that I'm doing, the QuickBooks checking has been good, but I need one more level of something, and it's not working for me. So I'm now in the process of working through that part. Okay. But that's more information to come on that one. I don't have enough information to share on that yet. Still working through part of it, but. And then
I think you had said maybe in one of the comments in the Facebook group that somebody had asked about QuickBooks Online integration with your e-commerce platform.
I don't know, Cor. Yes, somebody had a question about Shopify because they were trying to simplify some stuff, and they were still saying that it was taking manual entry. And I believe that you're probably going to need some manual entry no matter what system you use, I guess. I mean, we've got ours set to have some of the stuff run and have it automated. I don't know the back end side of that completely yet to know. Thank you, Cora. To know exactly what what she's questioning about on the integration. But I know Square and Shopify, I believe Wix does. I don't know about Equid. I know those all integrate with QuickBooks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, QuickBooks has a, if you search within their system, it'll tell you which platforms and stuff will integrate with it. So,
yeah. And then if for whatever reason yours doesn't, or you need it to be a little bit different, I have also integrated different gateways, so whether that's Stripe or payment gateways or e-commerce, if you're taking money through there, you can integrate through Zapier. So Zapier will connect and automatically load stuff in there, but you just have to be, in fact, you and Sandy talked about this in the OSG training, right? You just have to be aware of the rules it's making and stuff like that, and make sure that you're double checking the transactions that are automating through there. So
right. I mean, even though it's automated, it's still, you need to have a little double check on keeping track of it. Either yourself or your accountant should be checking that through.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit. So we already talked in the first section about kind of designing for mobile, and so thinking through that. So I think we've got that covered, unless you guys had anything else on that.
Just to be aware of it.
Yep. Yeah. And most most of the time when you're doing something, like if you've got a live editor, like a lot of times in WordPress or some other ones, a live editor, you can actually just look right while you're designing to kind of see it, and there's normally a button to take a look, and so you can kind of do that. But like you mentioned, just be aware of it. So yeah, as soon as you're done, making whatever changes, updates to your site, the first thing you should do is open it up on your phone.
Right.
Double check. And here's another thing I discovered. I can go open it up on my phone, and I've got an Android phone. I've got a Google phone. And then Kylene can open it on her iPhone, and they look totally different. So you may need to check more than one operating system as well. So anything else on the mobile stuff for you guys?
I don't think so. I think, just, going through your website yourself as a customer, pretend customer, is really important when you're making these changes and looking for these different like connections that you're wanting it to do, just to make sure it actually works. Yeah. Aaron, what was the name of that app that we had for a bit where it followed someone's cursor when they visited your website?
Yeah, we still have that, by the way, but it's called Hotjar.
Yes.
Hotjar. And you install a little code on your website, and you can kind of track your users and see what they're doing and stuff like that, which is really, if they're
getting stuck, you would know what part of your website maybe is holding people back from going to that next level or wherever you want them to go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So check that out, Hotjar. Okay, so let's then talk about the actual, because I'm going to kind of hit both things. I'm going to close up our talk about kind of like apps, connections, things like that. Not necessarily apps, but like connections, stuff like that. One thing I've also discovered is that way too often we might spend more time trying to automate something or make it for something that's going to be a one-time thing, or something that might be actually easier manually, or might be easier to turn over to a virtual assistant, something like that, right? So I guess, do you guys have any thoughts on that? Like, I know way too many times I've tried to set up systems and complicated and this and that and the other thing. Like, I don't know, remember the time, Kylene, I was down here in the basement working through trying to automate something using ChatGPT to write code, and all of a sudden I'm building apps inside of Amazon, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'd gotten to that point where it's like, I just got to keep going. I got to finish this, because I'm not going to be able to get out of this hole.
Was that for you? That was for your book, right?
Yeah. I wanted to be able to, when somebody bought the book as a PDF, I wanted to automate that process of making sure they got it and following up with them and stuff like that. And but I wanted to make sure, that so the whole point of what I was trying to do is I was trying to get it to where, okay, it would send them the link to the PDF, but it would be unique to them. So, somebody wasn't getting it and then sharing it with everybody else kind of thing. Anyhow, I did finally figure it out, but it was quite an ordeal. All right. Rena says, how the heck is one of you Android and the other Apple? I guess it's true opposites attract.
Our household too. My husband will not switch off of an Android to an Apple, and I switched a few years ago, and I still swear at it once in a while. So there's just little things that the Android, I don't know. They both have their things. I like the Apple stuff because the kids and I all connect and share. But I miss the close all function. I miss a couple things for my Android. So
yeah. All right. Okay, so let's now start talking about the actual content of the website a little bit. What should we be aware of inside of that, Becky?
Well, this is where I get a little not very website savvy with it because I just want it to look pretty. And somebody else needs to figure out how to make it be a little more functional. But, the SEO and the keyword search are big things. And I know Aaron's had some training in the past. I'm pretty sure I skipped that one because it goes over my head really fast. Because I don't desire to be a website builder, I guess, is probably why. And and that's why I like the simplicity of the Wix part for me, because it's pretty much plug and play. I can put something in there and it goes where it's supposed to go and I don't have to worry about it. But I know the back end side of needing to know, SEO, keyword search, having things optimized, tags and headers and all that kind of stuff. And then I know we talked about it earlier with, improving the load speed to make sure that your website does pull up. I mean, back in the days of dial-up internet, we waited a long time for things to load. So, but
we just don't do that anymore. And go ahead, Kylie.
Oh, no, go ahead, Aaron.
Well, I was just going to kind of say, when you talk about the SEO and the keyword research and stuff like that, right? Yeah. It's great to have a really pretty website, but if nobody ever shows up to it, right, then now if we're sending people there and that's all we need, but if you'd like somebody to be able to search and find you, then you've got to, be up with the SEO. Now the cool part is this is since most people are searching on Google, this is a Google thing. And while it's not always easy to work with Google, they try to make it somewhat easy and all of the tools are free. So for example, you talked about the load speed. You can go to Google Page Speed Insights. So just search that in Google. And you can type your website in and it'll tell you how your page load speed is, right? I actually need to do that after all the changes that I've made. So, doing things like that, or, you can go and find in Google Analytics and get the tools and stuff like that. Kylene mentioned Hotjar. So just kind of, again, making sure that your website's really doing what you want it to do. From the front end, great, but you also need it to work from the back end too. So you mentioned tags, headers. Another important thing is you should be adding alt text to your images. That will help your search functionality when you upload an image to your website, depending on which service you're using, but you should have somewhere where you put an alt text that would have keywords that people would be searching for. So, and again, I know that this is a lot, and like you said, Becky, this can go over a lot of our heads. But I think just being aware of it, right? So I want to get a little bit better with getting Google to, ranking and things like that. Okay, well, here's what you need to do. And so now you know about it. You may not be the one to do that, but yeah, you need to make sure that you go through your images and make sure there's an alt text on all of them.
Well, and definitely something, if you're aware of it and you have somebody that's doing it for you, now you know to ask that question.
Yeah.
Is this being done on the images that are going on my website? Or, are we getting the SEO set right? Or again, it's definitely over my head because
Yeah.
I've never done the research on that part of it to know exactly what it does for me. I know you need it,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
Well, what I might suggest, just to give people a tip that they can take away with here today, is once you've done the work to make your website pretty, get it the way you want it to work and functionality, thinking about what your customers need, all that stuff, take that page and have Chat GPT look at it. Say, act as if you are a Google expert, webmaster, SEO, whatever. You come up with some wording along those lines, whatever works for you. Look at this page and tell me what I need to update, right? And it will tell you, okay, well, you need to probably add a tag here, or because a lot of times we'll make a line of text, just we'll make it bold, and in SEO world, we'd be better off making that bold line of text, which is important to the SEO, the search engine optimization. We'd be better off, instead of just making it bold, to make it an H2 or an H3 tag, right? So again, I know we're kind of hitting some higher level stuff, but it really is that simple. Like in the back, in the coding part, you should see heading. So H1 is heading 1, H2 heading 2, H3 heading 3. And that's how Google then goes and looks at web pages to, it goes, okay, what's going on in the heading tags? That's the tags part. And that's a good place for it to start. So, okay. I know I've kind of.
No, that was awesome.
it's good. It's good to know. And even using the Chat GPT. My problem is sometimes I go to Chat GPT and I don't even know how to start asking it to even do that part of it. What's the verbiage that I should use to even get to that point? So sometimes I know I struggle that way.
Yeah. And I think one of the things with ChatGPT is you just got to keep talking to it, right? Like just take it and go, okay, webpage, here's my webpage, and just say, hey, act as if you are a Google expert. Take a look at this webpage, insert your webpage, and tell me what I need to update.
Yeah. I'm with Rena. I would have never thought to use ChatGPT for that either. Karen had a couple comments here. I don't want to lose either. She had said, I think the About Us page is huge. I think people want to know about who they are buying from, because as a content provider, it's about posting content daily. Our goal, we study what people are looking at with the Google Analytics. And I agree. It's hard to write that About Us page sometimes, but I think it's important to have out there.
Yeah. Real quick, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to talk about that real quick, because this is a big part of what OSG is all about, right? Honestly, the About Us page should be simple once you do the work that we work people through, right? So your About Us page is your why, is your reason, and then who it is that you serve and what the problem is that you solve for them. That's your About Us page with some pictures of you and make it pretty and all that kind of fun stuff. But I've seen way too many About Us pages, like, we started our business in X, and we've got 7 colors of embroidery thread, or we've been like, okay, I understand that you want people to know that you've been around and stuff like that, but tell me why that's important. Why should I care as the consumer, as the potential customer? And so, yeah, I think the About Us page is huge, and I see way too many people's that just doesn't. I'm still looking at a web page, right? Like, I don't know, put a picture of yourself up there. I know that's scary and I know that's hard, but people buy from people. People don't buy from a logo or a picture of a building, right? And again, I'm preaching a little bit, and I'm not saying that if you don't do that, you're not going to be successful. I'm just saying, why not try that out? See what happens. So,
yeah.
All right. Off my, yeah,
she also had, because we post often, we don't always get the alt tags, SEO, etc. We feel it's more important to provide the content. I know we still need to be found, but it's better to do something than not at all the stuff you can do.
Yep. And what I found is if you can make it part of your process, though, right? Like, so if you're posting content, so where this really works is if you do write a blog. Right. And I try to write a blog fairly regularly. And, so I got the content, and then I just take that content, I put it in ChatGPT and I say, hey, give me what I need here as far as tags. What should I do to improve this? And so when I'm posting it, then okay, it's pretty quick and easy, and it's just part of my process when I post a blog, because I also want to make sure that then I take that blog and I get it to my VA to go on to social media, or I put it on LinkedIn, right? So just again, well, fundamental number 8 is systematic processes. So make that part of your process. So,
Yep.
Yep. All right. What else?
And I had one more that I had starred from Karen earlier that I didn't want us to lose completely, but I wanted to make sure we went back to it was, how do you feel apps are necessary for business?
Okay. Go for it.
Go ahead, Kylene. I'll let you start.
I think it depends on what you need your website to do. Sometimes you need that app on there to have that function. If I'm being too general, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Becky.
So, I mean, I'm thinking about downloading an app in order to shop. So you think about the big box stores and some of those. Yes, it makes it way easier to go directly there. Mm-hmm. I use one in particular when I need to find the aisle number to find what it is I'm looking for. But for me, I don't do that type of thing. So for me, I don't feel that an app is. An app would be good if you're trying to put, have a place for your people on your mobile devices to land. And I mean, I can see where it would definitely be beneficial for certain businesses. I'm not one of them. So I know, again, it's above my head. It's above my pay grade.
Yeah. And I'll go along with what you're saying there, Becky. I think the problem with an app, if just making, because ultimately all of the apps that we have on our phone are just websites that have been all, kind of scrubbed down. And so you could certainly make your website an app, and I know people do, and I get contacted all the time like, oh, we can make your website an app. And the problem with most apps is they suck, to be honest. I mean, it's just going to be flat out honest, right? Like, I'd rather go to your website on my mobile phone if your app is clunky and hard to use, because most of the time people, quote unquote, make apps from their website, and all they've done is basically have it so it automatically loads as an icon, and it's just their mobile website, but their mobile website wasn't that good, right? Yeah. So, I think, I don't think it's necessary at all, and I think it needs to be done well if you are going to do it, and that can cost some money. So that there's some development that goes into something like that. So again, do your customers need that though, right? Is it going to change their experience? Probably not in a lot of cases, but maybe it is, right? So like Caesar, for folks in the decorating world here, they out of the gate, they like, oh yeah, we're going to do an app. And they did one of those apps where it was just, it really was their mobile website, and it was not very good. And they didn't get a lot of traction at first. And so they put a lot of time, effort, and development into it. And now it's a really good tool. You need to go look at colors, or get the color card, get pressing instructions. It's all right there in the app, really easy to use, because they went out and they found out from their customers, okay, what do you need this app for? So to just make an app, probably not. But if your customers could use it, then it is kind of cool that, I'm not scrolling to find, t-shirt printers, horse magazines, whatever, right, that I'd be looking for. I just go to that app. I go to BK Custom. I go to Northwest Horse, right? So there's, I'd say there's something on both sides, but do it right.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
I agree.
Okay. Yep. And let's see the. Oh, yeah. Here we go. This is another good point that I think we should get. Too many websites have a corporate feel. You can't reach them easily. No phone or email. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, most people have their social media links at the top, whereas you should have your email address or phone number or way to contact you at the top, and social media links at the bottom. People are going to find social media. You don't need to advertise for social media. Right? So just a good point there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Kylene, you want to wrap us up here?
Well, thank you guys so much for this conversation. I've learned a lot. Again, I have some experience with websites, but this is,
You're a website user.
What was that?
You're a website user.
I am a user, yes. For sure. But it's always inspiring to connect with other entrepreneurs. We learn from each other, we share insights with each other, and we all just grow and thrive together. So remember, you're not alone in this trip, and I'm glad you guys are all here. We can lift each other up and share our wins and all that other fun stuff. Please join us over in our website or our Facebook group on Fall in Love with Your Business. We'd love to hear any key takeaways to keep this conversation going. Sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. So just share in the comments or even start a new conversation. If there's something you want to discuss in that group, just ask us. And there's so many amazing people in that group. It's full of insight.
Yep, definitely. And we talked about a whole bunch of different, different types of websites, different, companies you could go to. Heck, we talked about different payment gateways and stuff like that. Let's talk about your business, right? So maybe you're a Shopify user and you use Stripe. What are you stuck with? What are you challenged with? Pop that into the Facebook group there at osg.link/group. Let's have that conversation. And, we'll all jump in, and the more perspective you get, the better. And none of our feelings are going to be hurt if you don't use our suggestion. It's just a way. That's how perspectives work, right? We just have to gain enough perspective so we can make decisions for ourselves, and that's what we're all about over there at the Fall in Love group. So, my reminder for you guys is take consistent. Just make sure I hit that word heavily. Take consistent, productive action daily. Right? Just take action daily. Whether maybe it's tending to your mindset, like clarifying your reason, or setting some clear goals, or embracing more focus. Just the small steps that you can take each day will lead to significant progress in your business. That's what we teach. That's what the book is all about. That's the format for our success group. And so just do that, right? Action beats inaction every time. So again, keep that conversation rolling. And make sure that you get over there to the group, osg.link/group. If you're not already in, just sign up. Make sure that when you do sign up, that you agree to the rules, because we've got some people that are sitting in there waiting to get in that haven't agreed to the rules yet. And so we're like, we want to get you in here, but you got to agree to the rules real quick. So make sure that you do that if you're going to go join us over there at osg.link/group. That'll take you over to Facebook, Fall in Love with Your Business group over there.
Yep. And finally, we've talked about it, but let's not forget about the power of a community. We've said it, we're all in it together, sharing the experiences, learning from each other. We can all rise higher. Don't hesitate to engage, either by posting yourself or by commenting on somebody else's post. We all have insight to give. We've said that. And sometimes if you feel like you don't because you're a beginner, sometimes we all need that beginner mindset to see it from a different angle. So be sure to be commenting in there. And last but not least, we have the mastermind groups. So if you're looking to take your business to a little bit higher level and participate in discussions, we meet every other week. We'd like to continue to support you and build a very supportive network for you. And remember that a rising tide lifts all boats. Next week, we're going to be talking about a similar and equally challenging topic, the general rebrands. So as creatives, we like to chase the fun new logo. As you know, we changed our logo here too. But like the website, we need to have the thought and think it through and have it thought out for what we need. So we just wanted to say thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Rising Tide Talks. Have a great week.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.